Afternoon. Sorry. I was engrossed in charts and I was like, started the stream 3 minutes ago. I completely forgot. Hang on, where's my chat gone? Whoa, one sec. I'm not organized at all. Bear with. Bear with. Go. Shush. Done. How we doing? Everybody good? Ready for the Canadians to rip the market to pieces? Don't forget to hit thumbs. 42 people in here. 3 thumbs. 3. 3, really? 3. 10. Getting better. Right, so let me just shut all this down. So this afternoon we've had the non-farm employment change come out. More importantly, though, we've had Powell speaking this afternoon. So we'll have a look at that in a sec. But the non-farm employment change is basically the precursor to non-farm payroll, which obviously comes out on Friday, which is what everybody focuses on. But actually, it's the unemployment rate that moves the market, not non-farm payroll. We just call it non-farm payroll for some reason. I have no idea, but that is what we're interested in. But anyway, so it's down. And quite often you find that when non-farm employment change drops, non-farm employment change, well, it's not the ADP version, tends to drop as well. And what you tend to find is the unemployment rate slightly climbs, which is negative currency. So it kind of gives us a little bit of a precursor into what we might expect to come on Friday. Not always the case, but a lot of the times you'll find that that will be the case. So we may get a drop in the US on Friday. But today, obviously, we're here for the interest rates for the Bank of Canada. So that is going to come out as a 5. We're not expecting anything different. There's no reason why it should. If there is, it's going to be absolute chaos, but very, very unlikely. The press conference is at 3:30. That's when we're going to actually find out what happens to the market. That's when the market tends to move 15 to 30 minutes after that press conference has got underway. So basically, this is when the questions have all come out. We know what's going on, and then the market tends to put its moves in on the Canadian dollar based on what's been said in the press conference. In between the press conference and the rate, we've got Powell testifying at 3 o'clock. Now, Powell has been speaking this afternoon already. So we've had quite a lot of, we had the budget today for the pound as well. Pound's dropping a bit off the back of that, but it's not massive. So we've had Powell speaking this afternoon ahead of his testifying. And as you can see here, there's 3 main events that he's mentioned. We do not expect it to be appropriate to reduce policy rate until we have greater confidence inflation is moving towards 2%. So all he's basically saying there is we are on our way to the 2% target. But it's not going as fast as we anticipated. So therefore, if we're not down closer to that 2% by June, it might be put back again, is kind of what he's saying in a roundabout way. Economic outlook is uncertain. Ongoing progress to 2% is not assured, i.e. we might get a bit of a bounce. We've got April, May, and June, 3 months for that inflation to get closer to 2%. And it's likely appropriate to begin dialing back policy, i.e. reducing rates by end of year, which we already know. But this is the important one here, basically. Do not expect it will be appropriate to reduce policy rate until we have greater confidence. So they're not as confident that inflation is going to come down as fast as they were anticipating. So the market's had a bit of a drop on that today, as you can see. So the US dollars dropped down quite substantially off the back of what Powell said. I say quite substantially. It's 2 hours of drop. Yeah, it's just that and that and that. Again, what happens after that is that. So don't read anything into it, but the market has obviously started a downward move off the back of what's been said. So we'll see if that continues this afternoon. US dollar yen's come down nicely. I've just closed out some profit on the US dollar yen from here. I had an aggressive drawdown control position on there, which I've just closed out. I haven't done any drawdown control with it yet because my drawdown isn't particularly bad. So there's no point in using the profit I've just banked to reduce that when it's only sitting in 1.76% anyway. So it's at break even basically. So a little bit of negative news on the CAD today, a little bit of negative news off of Powell testifying, or anything else that happens over the next 48 hours. That's going to be in profit anyway. So if it pushes back up, I will just add it back on again, because that's what we keep doing. We keep going down, I keep taking profit. We keep pushing up, I keep adding it back on. We keep going down, I keep taking profit. We keep pushing up, I keep adding it back on. And I will keep doing that until the Japanese increase their interest rates, and then I will take profit on the whole lot. Just waiting. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, I've also put trailing stop on that one. This is in profit at the moment. It's not massive amount of profit, but it's in profit. I'm looking to get back up to there, but that's 200 ADR. It's going to need a big drop in that Canadian rate, or big weakness in the Canadian dollar, basically, to get me up there. So I don't want to remain in this whipsaw. So I'm just going to exit the position. I've had enough. It's just the case at the minute. We are just stuck in everything, aren't we? So when the profit's there, just get it in the bank. Basically is what I'm doing. So that's the news this morning. There's quite a lot else said by Powell and Hunt in the budget, the UK budget, but nothing particularly drastic. So today we've had some movement. If we look at the ADR dash, as you can see, the Aussie dollar CAD and the Aussie dollar US dollar are at 125. So the Australian dollar's had a nice big rally in the last 2 hours. We've basically, in the last 2 hours, we've put in, and we're still going, look, over half an ADR in the last 2 hours. So very, very big moves there. Aussie dollar Swiss rallying, Aussie dollar New Zealand rallying, everything rallying, Australian dollar. And if you look at the New Zealand dollar, that's kind of a little bit more subdued, but is moving in a similar sort of direction. So a little bit of movement on the Aussie pairs. There's quite a few ADRs there. Obviously, those three Aussies. So these are mean reversion opportunities. Obviously, if you're taking Aussie dollar CAD, you're taking it just before the news. It's either going to go that way or that way, isn't it? So be careful with any of those. But there's a few ADR extensions. So all of these, basically, you can drop down lower time frames, wait for the reversal alerts to kick in. One just about to go in there. And then just drop third half an ADR off of them as usual. And if they don't work out, turn them into positions. But there's quite a few opportunities there. New Zealand dollar Swiss. We've had a reversal alert on that one already, look. So that one's on its way down. Just off of ADR. New Zealand dollar CAD. Again, that's up at ADR. No reversal alert on that one just yet. Pound Swiss, that's come down nicely. I've taken one off of the Pound Swiss. I had an aggressive drawdown control position on there, so I've just taken that one off. But yeah, waiting. I've still got one aggressive on, which basically I will stop out on if that pushes back up, which will cancel that one out. But yeah, nice big move on the Pound Swiss. Reversal alert on that one this morning was up there. Beautiful M pattern reversal and retest. So yeah, lots of movement across the board basically today. But obviously in 4 minutes, we've got the Canadian rate. So we will watch that. We'll watch pound CAD's moving quite a lot. So probably best to watch the Euro CAD. Look at this, bouncing back again. Everything's moving, so it's a bit difficult to pick something to watch that will give us any indication, really. But we'll watch the Euro CAD and see how that moves along. RSIs today, nothing again on the hourlies. Nothing's moving. And the 4 hours are the same as we looked at this morning. So if you're in this morning's live room, CAD Yen, these are all the same extensions we had pretty much this morning. CAD Yen's extended to the downside, so mean reversion opportunity to long. Euro CAD is extended to the upside, short play, really on that leg. So you don't want to look for too much on that one. It probably will mean revert the entire thing at some point, but probably not ahead of the news. Euro Swiss extended to the upside. I'm in short on this one already, off of the hourly extension that we had last week back here. So I've been in this, last week. So I've been in this for 4 days. And pound CAD also extended to the upside. Nice extension there. Good divergence across all of these. We looked at this morning. Lovely divergence, which is bearish. And pound Swiss, which is coming down quite nicely at the moment, but would be nice if that comes down a bit faster. So let's watch that Euro CAD. We got 1 minute 30. Indices this morning, nice clean breaks. DAX, clean. Yeah, I'm ahead. DAX, nice clean break to the upside. Long hit TP and then got stopped out in the second, but it went up to 2R. But again, only 2R. Still not a lot of movement, is it? And the FTSE, nice clean break again to the downside this time. Got that 1R out of it and just out. So I'm not going for much on any of these at the moment because we are literally getting so little movement. It's not worth trying to get into anything aggressively. Breaks so far on the NASDAQ. Short on the NAS. Dow already out. Long. And hedged on the S&P at the moment. So we'll see that. Look at those in a minute. Right. 30 seconds to go. Good afternoon, everybody. I haven't said hello to anybody. Ian, Mark, Lion, Fletch, Julio, Baggy, JC, Evil, FTNet, Amy, Crum, Mumo, Gregors, Europe, Monkey, David, Brian. Both Brian's reporting for duty. Good. Johannes, Joe, JC, Iluid. Can't say your name. IT, Kennelly, Steve, Emac. It's time. Senji. Hello, everybody. There we go. Positive CAD. Well, positive push on the CAD. I wouldn't say that's positive CAD. We'll wait and see. Looks positive to me. But it doesn't make any difference, does it? The rate hasn't gone up. If the rate had gone up, that would be off the screen. So basically, that's just the market getting the news. Just using that liquidity to execute orders. Just be prepared for a whipsaw. I kind of like that with whipsaw in the other direction personally, but see. So bullish move on the CAD off the back of the news, but nothing particularly dramatic. Less than half an ADR in the candle. So rate as expected. So basically what we need to do now is wait for the press conference at 3:30. They will then discuss why they've done what they've done, give us all we are data driven. We will move interest rates when the inflation is dropping down towards the 2% level, more likely be somewhere around about June, because that's when the US are going to be doing theirs. Basically what all countries are saying at the moment is we'll wait for the US to go and then we'll go after them because we want to see what happens when they do. So that's basically the way it works. So let's have a look at the statement. So obviously with the overnight rate, you get the rate statement, which is basically their reasonings behind it. So we'll see what's coming out on that. It's still too early for the Bank of Canada to consider cutting rates. Need to give higher rates more time to work. No big surprises since January. Economic growth has remained weak and inflation has eased further. So the rates for Canada basically sitting at 5. Inflation sitting at 2.9, coming down fast. So as you can see, the Canadian inflation is lower than the US and coming down at a faster rate. But they're still saying we're not interested in cutting rates at the moment. This is where the US kind of want to be, really, down towards that 2.5 level. When you start getting there and this is still going down, you need to put the brakes on, which means you need to drop that interest rate, which basically encourages inflation to slow down. So yeah, same old. I'm not even sure why I should be streaming this, because we weren't expecting it to change, therefore we wouldn't expect anything to move, should we? Bank needs to see further sustained easing in core inflation. So a little bit more strength in the CAD, ever so slightly. If you look at it on the grand scheme of things, you know, it's not actually doing much at all really at the minute. Let's just see if that's affected the indices. So a little bit of a whipsaw on the indices. Nothing particularly dramatic. No. Right. Let me just have a quick look at what's going on with the rest of the FX side of things. If anybody's got any pairs specifically they want to look at, let me know. Just wanted to see how that's affected the Swissy. Not much. No real impact on the yen either. So I suspect we're going to be waiting now until we get to the Powell speech at 3 o'clock. So that kicks off in 10 minutes. So we'll watch what happens with Powell, and then obviously the press conference is where we're going to get the main move a bit later on. So afternoon, Chucks. Pound Swiss. So pound Swiss at the moment coming down very nicely today. We did push up again and we broke the weekly high. So this is the new high of the week. So it remains to be seen if we break the low. That's a broker candle really. So there really is yesterday's low, kind of. So this area here basically is what we're looking for a break of. If we're going to confirm that we are starting to pull back. So at the moment, market structure is long. Yeah, so this is potentially either a pullback on a new leg up, or it's a peak formation high, and we're going to break below that low and then start coming back down again. So we'll wait and see. But at the moment, we've had pretty much 4 hours of solid selling, which is good. So the Swiss franc, if you look at all the Swiss franc pairs, a lot of money coming into the Swissy today. Obviously not for the CAD Swiss, you can't tell now because obviously the Canadian dollar's rallied, and so is the Aussie. So you can see there's been money coming into the Swiss franc, but not massively strong. We're just undoing basically the sort of last couple of days worth of price action at the moment. So this is potentially just a pullback on a new leg up. So the Swiss franc at the moment is really struggling, as we know, because the interest rate is 1.75, so we've got the lowest interest rates worldwide at the moment, and the inflation is below the 2% target. It's still coming down. So there is an argument for the Swiss being the first to drop rates ahead of the US. It is quite possible. The Swiss are very well known for dropping bombshells on us. So if you look at the Swiss rates, so when we have rates on the Swiss franc, when's the next Swiss franc rate decision? May? When's the next rate decision on the Swissy then? Miles away. Oh, that's because I've chosen inflation, isn't it? Central bank. So if you look at the rates, yeah, they're very, 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 very stable. Have been for a long time. Yeah, pre-COVID they were massively stable. They're just totally stable. This is why it's a safe haven currency. But they do have the gall to drop the odd bombshell in there. Like they say, we're going to increase the interest rates. They tell everybody to increase the interest rates. Everybody buys the Swiss for weeks ahead of the interest rate. And they go, no, we didn't do it. And then they say, we're going to keep the rates the same. And then they drop them by 0.5% out of the blue. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if we drop from 1.75 1.25 or 1.5 without them actually saying anything. So it's one of those things you've got to be a little bit careful of, the Swissy. At the moment, though, it's very weak. So we are continuously kind of grinding against the Swiss franc. They have indicated that they may put the rates up one more time as well. But I can't see them doing it. And that was a long time ago, and they've said nothing since. So, but yeah, pound Swiss, just looking for a push back down again, basically, out of this grind. The pound is, if you look at the pound, it's not doing too bad at the moment. It's not strong by any means, but it's not weak either. So shows you how weak the Swiss franc is. But the minute I got 2 positions on that one, and looking for it to come down. On the ADR reversals, I'm doing aggressive drawdown control on this at the minute, as you can see. So just basically waiting. I don't need much. Literally, from where we are now, I need half an ADR, 3/4 of an ADR to get out. It's just one of those things that's just been grinding. Yeah, we haven't had any pullbacks, look, since I got into it back here. It's just been grinding and grinding and grinding. No market structure. This is what we're seeing at the moment. This is why it's so hard to trade at the moment. We're not seeing market structure. We're seeing a push for a couple of days and then the never-ending flags and grind. But it'll come down at some point. US dollar CAD 125 ADR. Big drop there. That's Canadian dollar strength. Everything will be coming down against the CAD. I haven't got any targets on that one. We're at support on that as well. Where should we go? Let's go for 150. Just looking for sort of movement. Aussie dollar yen, ADR. Aussie dollar still pushing by the looks of things. Still very strong move on that Australian dollar. Not stopping. So yeah, pound Swiss shorts at the minute. US dollar CAD, we just looked at that. So big strong move. Target for me is propulsion, basically. So just looking for the start of this move to get retested. That's not a very good target, to be honest. It's an argument for taking that off now. Actually, it's one shot wonder, basically, straight in again. But look, I mean, I've got into it here. 5 days sideways, not doing anything. So still, it sounds like we've got moves going on the Canadian dollar, Aussie dollar, Swiss. That's the Aussie dollar rallying still. Just slightly worried about we're at basically potential support here, and what I don't want it to do is that again. You know, this is what we're seeing so much at the moment. We've got the Fed talking in 3 minutes, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do with this. I'm just going to stick a trailing stop on it. And then if Powell talks the US dollar down, brilliant. If he talks the US dollar up, I'll just be out. UK 100, pretty strong. Don't really trade it in the afternoon. Yeah, pushing at the moment. That's because the US dollars, the pound is coming down. So the indices do the inverse to currencies. Target hit on the NASDAQ. TP1 hit and TP2 is all the way down here, but Powell might help me hit that one. Right. So we might as well stay on the US dollar CAD while we're waiting for Powell to talk. So we just had a few more bits come out of the Bank of Canada. Uh, 23% chance of a Bank of Canada rate cut in April, down from 43% before the rate decision. Really? I wouldn't have expected that, even at 43%. So, I mean, it's very unlikely they're going to cut rates next month. But I suppose they did. So that is, as you can see, slightly bullish. So basically what they're saying is when the rates are cut, the currency will weaken. What they're saying now is it's less chance that they're going to weaken it next month. Therefore, it's stronger. So we're going to hold it for longer rather than selling it. So bullish for the Canadian dollar. I'll be surprised if that actually continued, though, too much, but we'll see. Right. So Powell is testifying now. There we go. So we got PMI just about to come out. We got JOLTS just about to come out as well in 20 seconds for the US, and then Powell is testifying. So we should get some volatility coming in again. Sec. Okay, so there's JOLTS, job openings, and the Canadian PMIs. You watch them undo this whole thing. Not a lot of impact. So PMIs 53.9. JOLTS 8.86 on a forecast of 8.8. So pretty much as expected result. So no news there. Not doing anything. So we're waiting for Powell now. So basically this afternoon, obviously we've got an hour of Powell talking. Well, not there because he's talking again tomorrow, which is, I didn't realize it was 2-day testify, but it is. So he's talking now. And then obviously we've got the Bank of Canada press conference at 3:30. So for the next hour, there is potential for the Bank of Canada and for the Fed to drop some bombshells, which could drive the market quite heavily in either direction. So just need to be aware, obviously, of everything that's going on. Any profit you've got on Canadian dollar pairs or US dollar pairs, if you've got it now, as I am, trail it, take it, bank it, do whatever you want with it. But bear in mind, if there is a big spike and it goes against you, like New Zealand dollar, US dollar, I'm trailing that as well. Yeah. So got trailing stops on these. These are buys. So if this suddenly comes crashing down, that goes in the bank. US dollar CAD, if that comes flying up the other way, straight in the bank. Take it off now if you want to. I mean, there's a good chance we may get absolutely nothing but a whipsaw for the next hour. If we do, so be it. But if it all goes against you, you can't put this back in the bank. Yeah. So just bank anything you've got profit that's running at the minute. CAD Swiss ADR. So all these ADRs that we're seeing going in here, any that you get into now, obviously you're going to find it very hard to get reversal alerts on stuff because, as you can see, the reverse alert is going to be all the way down there. So most of these, you know, when you get ADR hits and there's news involved, not worth really looking at. You can't really get into them. So just wait and see what happens. But decent moves today. Pound yen just closed out one of the pound yens. There's another ADR. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Again, still pushing that Aussie. What is going on with the Aussie today? Big moves. One and done out. NASDAQ short. Yeah, me too. Nice and easy breakdown today. Actually, I'm still in it. On my way to 3R. S&P is dropping now as well. Kind of indicates a bit of US dollar strength coming through, but certainly can't see it against the Canadian dollar. Yeah, there's a little bit of US strength starting to creep in. Not a lot. Right. So that's pretty much all I've got for you this afternoon. So banks bank 4%. So that's the first time I banked this month, basically, pretty much. Did a little bit of DD control on Monday. Banked a tiny bit on Friday last week, but that's the first proper bank so far this month because we've just not gone anywhere for the last few days. So drawdowns all fine. Still in these yens. We're still waiting for the Japanese to pull their finger out, and they're not doing it. So all the time we are range bound on this yen. I shall just keep banking profits when it's presenting itself and waiting for that rate increase, and then bank when it happens. But at the minute, US dollar yen is holding. As you can see, we're back down again where we broke, and then the Japanese said, do not push us any further, and we haven't. So we are stuck in this range at the minute. I'm just working this range basically over and over and over and over again, building up swaps, which is costing an absolute fortune. So that's starting to put a mean reversion in again down at ADR, but we'll see. Powell hopefully will talk the US dollar down this afternoon, which would be lovely. ADRs stuck in the Euro Swiss and the Pound Swiss at the moment. Just stopped out the aggressive drawdown control positions on those. But those are the main problems in drawdown at the minute. So bank 6% today. I'm up 666 on the month. That's not good. Up 6.66% on the month. Sitting in a lot of drawdown at the moment though because of the Pound Swiss and the Euro Swiss. So overexposed on those at the moment. But everything else is fine. Just waiting for stuff to move as usual. Pound yen can bank as well. Well, I might as well reduce the yen exposure. Bank pound yen done. Pound CAD as well. That's coming to profit. Put that in the bank as well. So out the pound CAD on that move. Euro New Zealand, that's starting to come down. So I'm still playing this return to origin kind of move on the pound New Zealand, but Euro New Zealand, but as you can see, we're just stuck. We haven't rallied away from this break yet, and we haven't undone the break yet. So it's just sitting in this one waiting. And the hedging account banked 10%, done 2% today, usual drawdown. There's a few bits and pieces that can be banked on the hedging account as well. But I'm trying to hold on to stuff at the moment as long as I can. I don't really want to bank too quickly because I just want to try and get this drawdown down a little bit. Uncomfortable. And that little play account is still doing very well. Up 22% now on the month. Sitting in 5% of drawdown. So going very well that. New EA, new set file. although this is only a testing set file. What the hell? I'll take 22%. Right, that's all I've got for you today. So there's not a lot else really to look at until we have got the press conference out of the way. So the Bank of Canada rate, as expected, 5%. So we wait and see what happens in the press conference. I'm just wondering if that was Powell testifying earlier today, and he's done it early. Because it's unusual for Powell to say stuff like this just out of the blue before he's scheduled to testify. Source released testimony 19 minutes earlier than scheduled. Okay, there we go. I didn't spot the star on that. So there we go. So that is basically that news that we had earlier was Powell's testimony. So he's already done it. So that Powell news isn't happening. We've had it. So that's why we obviously got that US dollar weakness. So CAD is the next one, 330. So watch the CAD for moves after the press conference. High probability, I think, that we might just undo everything we just done. So out the US dollar CAD. So be prepared to be back up here again in an hour's time. But we'll see. Unlikely he's going to talk it down, but you never know. Right, so that's all I've got for you this afternoon. I'll be managing the hedge on the S&P. So out of the NASDAQ shorts, so TP1 hit on the opening range break. You can see that, can't you? Can't see it very clearly because it's tiny. So opening range break today. Where is it? There. So that was your pre-market range. Sorry, no, your pre-market range was too small today, less than 10% of ADR. The post-market range was 32, which is perfect. So took the break short. TP1, TP2, nice and easy profit today on the NASDAQ. Dow, same thing. So that was the pre-market range today, was that 5 minutes there. So that was a break long. So TP1 and out in the same candle, basically, for that one. So S&P just missed TP on that. S&P, tricky today, isn't it? Kind of inclined to leave that where it is actually today, because we've got big news again tomorrow. So I'm not sure the market's really going to do an awful lot. We've had Powell's testimony already. So if it breaks to the upside, I'm looking to come back into that accumulation, which is way beyond ADR today. I think it's unlikely we'll get there, but you never know. If it breaks down, that is your kind of Globex high before we broke at Frankfurt. So kind of push and bounce out of that. Makes sense. 125 ADR is yesterday's low. So that's a long way to go to get all the way down there. Bearing in mind, we haven't really got any specific news that's going to drive it this afternoon. So just going to leave it at 3R on the S&P and see if I can get a bounce out of that. See where we go. 36 likes. That's not enough. We've got 66 people. Actually, that's not bad, is it? It's more than half. So more than half of you like me, which is good. So we'll see how we go this afternoon with the Canadian press conference. But tomorrow I'm going to be on at 1 when it loads. 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So be prepared tomorrow for the interest rate decision. So tomorrow we've got the foreign currency reserves, which won't do anything, but 115 is the euro rate. So it's going to be a very similar stream, I think, to today. It's unlikely we're going to have an awful lot of movement in the morning, and we'll basically be waiting for the euro announcement. As soon as the euro announcements come out, We've then got the unemployment claims for the US dollar 15 minutes later. Then 15 minutes later, we've got the press conference. And then we've got Powell testifying again tomorrow afternoon. So again, it's a massive potential mover tomorrow. Highly unlikely we will, though. So we'll probably see some decent movement, but mostly whipsaw based. So we'll see where we go. But again, I'm on at 1 o'clock, but any euro you've got in profit tomorrow morning, probably worth getting it in the bank. So I'll be watching my euro trades, banking anything that's euro based before the news comes out, just in case. But Lagarde has said there's no real chance of changing that. And if you look at the fundamentals for the euro, we're sitting at 2.6, coming down okay, but we're not there yet. So until that gets closer to that 2% level, they're not likely to do anything with their rates. However, if that next CPI number comes down faster than it is at the moment, they will. So there is a potential that Lagarde could say tomorrow in the press conference that they're going to drop the rates a little bit sooner, which could mean that we're looking sort of May, June again. So same pretty much as the US. So we'll see what happens, but this is what we're watching the news for, so that we can see what happens, how it affects us. So yeah, there we go. That's all for today. And now for something completely different. What's that? Afternoon, Evans. You're late again. Was it you that was late yesterday? Can't remember. Somebody was late yesterday, just as I was going. Maybe it wasn't you. Right, so I'll be back tomorrow. Same, well, not at the same time. 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Be aware, obviously, of the next hour for some movement on the CAD. Other than that, just keep doing what you're doing, banking as we go, and yeah, hopefully we'll carry on as we are this month. Monty Python, yeah, that's right. And now for something completely different. I'm not Monty Python, though. Right, have a good day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.